Now, President Trump has lashed out at Britain on Truth Social, describing the decision of this government to hand the Chagos Islands to Mauritius as a, quote, great stupidity.
Well, in contrast, President Donald Trump said this back in February. Take a listen.
Well, we're going to have some discussions about that very soon, and I have a feeling it's going to work out very well. They're talking about a very long-term, powerful lease, a very strong lease, about 140 years, actually. That's a long time. And I think we'll be inclined to go along with your country. Yeah.
Well, let's talk now to the Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch, good morning to you, Mrs. Badenoch. Is Donald Trump right? The handing over, well, not handing over, paying Mauritius to take the Chagos Islands from us is an act of great stupidity. Is that right?
Well, unfortunately for the Prime Minister, Donald Trump is right on Chagos. There is no reason why we should be surrendering British territory, which we paid for back in the 60s, for no reason whatsoever. I have to emphasize that there's no reason for us to do this. It weakens our country. We've got a strategic military base there. The only people who benefit are China and Russia. And as you said, paying £35 billion for the privilege. This is something we've been talking about for the last 12 months. It is extraordinary that Starmer is doing it. Conservative Party has opposed it every step of the way and will continue to do so.
But with respect, Mrs. Badenoch, it was the Conservative Party that started the negotiations before the last election.
The Conservative Party had talks with Mauritius and we said no. We ended that conversation. We said we're not doing this. There's nothing wrong with having conversations. It wasn't a negotiation on how to give it away. They said they wanted to talk. We said, all right, let's talk. They said, can we have it? We said no. There's nothing wrong with having those sorts of conversations. The problem is that after we ended it, Labour picked it up, ran with it, not just giving it away, but paying £35 billion for the privilege. It is not in our national interest. That is a strategic military base. And the US are now realizing exactly what's going on. I had a conversation last night with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and we had an extensive conversation about exactly what was going on. And I'm really pleased that after that conversation, President Trump has said what he did today. I think that Keir Starmer made a very silly decision to do that, and now he will be suffering the consequences.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Well, in this instant, President Trump certainly seems to have come to the rescue of our national interest. And yet just last night, his pronouncements on Greenland, and potentially even the threat to use military force to invade it, is very much against the national interest of this country and of keeping NATO together. Do you think that Donald Trump and America are still a reliable ally for this country?
Well, what I've always said is that where other countries, including the US, do things that are good for British national interest, we agree. When they don't, we disagree. On Chagos, I think he said the right thing. On Greenland, completely disagree. This is one of we need to work together, not just across the aisle with Labour, but with other countries. What is important is that the people of Greenland decide their future. This is, the Chagosians wanted to stay under British rule. The people of Greenland do not like the conversations that are taking place. And I have urged President Trump to stop this. This is not going to be good for NATO or the strategic Western alliance.
How important do you regard still NATO to Britain and world order, Mrs. Badenoch?
It's critical. It is critical for the British national interest. Britain is a strong country, but we cannot fight things alone. We cannot deal with all the problems by ourselves. Working with other partners who have shared interests is absolutely critical for the British. Sorry, the earpiece is falling out. Working with other countries is absolutely critical for British security.
Now let's move back to domestic issues now. We understand that you met with Conservative MPs last night in the wake of the defection of Robert Jenrick and more recently Andrew Rosendale to Reform, and that you spoke about the need to remain loyal and anybody who wanted to leave should leave. Do you not think that it would be better to try and persuade those people who are considering defecting to come back into the Conservative fold rather than pushing them away?
Well, actually, that's not what the conversation was about. That is something that I said in the letter. The Conservative Party is going back to core principles, and I need people in my party who care about the national interest, not just their self-interest. And it is important that if people have other things that they want to do, then they go where they think that is best. I want a strong and united team, not just people hanging around because they're looking for the best party that's going to help them win their seat. That is self-interest. I'm looking for people who want to fight for this country, who want to help your viewers, who want to bring down the cost of living, bring down energy bills. I want people who are going to be doing the right thing, helping us abolishing stamp duty, people who will do the work on how we leave the ECHR, not just say, let's leave. That is the most important thing.
But do you not think that actually politics works best when self-interest coincides with the national interest? If MPs fear that they're going to lose their seat to Labour, let's say, or the Liberal Democrats, they might think that they're serving the country much better if they join Reform and at least win the seat for the centre-right, rather than allowing it to go back to the left, which is what many people in your party and Reform would want to avoid.
Well, actually, I remember when people who were on the right of our party were defecting to Labour. Do you remember Natalie Elphicke? She was a member of the ERG. She defected to Labour in the last Parliament. The point I'm making is that there are a lot of people who are jumping around because all they care about is winning. What we care about right now in the Conservative Party is what we're winning for, and that is delivering a better UK, working in the national interest. And I'm not going to resile from that. I cannot spend all my time running around asking people who don't want to stay to stay. If people do not want to stay in the Conservative Party because they want to jump around with polls, then they should go. That is not serious. We are a serious party. We are the only credible alternative to Labour. We're working for a stronger economy and a stronger country. If they want to spend time on psychodrama and gossip and messing around, they do not belong in the Conservative Party. This is not about left or right. This is about right or wrong. And I don't want people who are in the party for the wrong reasons hanging around.
So, psychodrama or not, there is a major drama coming up for you, Mrs. Badenoch, and the Conservative Party. The local elections in May, even your most loyal supporters say it's going to be horrendous, difficult. How bad is it, and have you prepared your side for the scale of the defeat that you're expecting, probably at the hands of Reform?
Well, I didn't know that you could predict the future. I think we will find out about the local election results on local election day. What we're doing right now is showing people what our agenda is and fighting for every single vote. That is what I'm telling my team to go out and do. Who's going to run your local services best? Who is best for this country? Every time we have a press conference, we're talking about how we're going to make the country better. When Reform have a press conference, they're talking about who's jumping parties. I think your viewers can see who's actually working for local people and who's spending time on politics.
I'm going to make one prediction that you'll lose more seats than you gain in the May elections.
Well, I didn't know that you were in the business of psephology. What I'm doing right now is working for every vote.
All right, Mrs. Badenoch, Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party, not being drawn, but my best attempts to get her to talk about the local elections in May.